You ready?
Yes.
Hey, Jam, for this week's episode,
Okay.
for our little bonus episode, we're going to dive into questions from listeners about what are crystals, how does snow melt work or ice melt to make roads safer in Canada from a Canadian chem friend. And we're going to hear some feedback on some spooky Halloween stuff.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I'm really excited. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, I'm Melissa.
I'm Jam.
And I'm a chemist.
And I'm not.
And welcome to Chemistry for Your Life.
The podcast helps you understand the chemistry of your everyday life. Bonus edition.
Matching bonus edition. This is a rollover from last week's episode. We recorded them together. Wearing our cute matchy sweatshirts. Showed up matching on accident.
Yep.
So you too can match us if you get some brown boots, some dark jeans, and a Chem for Your Life collegiate sweater.
chemforyourlife.com/store.
All right. So we have all kinds of good questions and some fun comments from listeners about some different things. So let's get into it.
Yes, let's do it. So when we share at the end of every episode, we're like, send us your questions, send us your thoughts. Some of those end up right here in our monthly Ask a Chemist. So welcome. Your question may be here. Who knows? This first one is from Ayush on Instagram. Why are crystals rare?
Okay, so, well, first of all, it's like, how rare are they? I don't know that crystals are as rare as like some people want them to be or think they are.
Okay.
You know, like, I guess I don't know a ton about diamonds, but I know that diamonds maybe aren't as rare as people think. But in the chemical world, it is rare to get crystalline structures. And that's because crystalline structures are these like highly repeating units of the same thing is in a very ordered way. So imagine like if you had we'll say like a ball pit and you just throw in all the balls in a different color and they're just in there and just like haphazardly in there, versus if you put them in a specific pattern, one takes a lot more time, right? And crystals are similar, is as molecules are coming together to form a solid. So when we go from that liquid state or even dissolved in solution, when they're moving around more far apart from each other, as they find one another and start to move into more ordered, closer together structure that comes with a solid molecule, they need enough time to where they have the ability to organize themselves well. So you have to like get a slow cooling process and really the right mixture of solvent to where things can be dissolved in the right amounts, you know, and like come out of solution is what they call it, as it cools down in like a right ratio. And so it is actually pretty difficult to get crystals to form unless the conditions are just right. And so that's why crystalline material is rarer than just like plain old solids. And that is kind of the difference between crystalline material and plain old solids.
Interesting.
So
for some reason, just the way it was asked, why are crystals rare, instead of like, why are a certain kind of crystals rare? Or whatever, I immediately got that picture of in Napoleon Dynamite when they buy that very cheap time machine situation or whatever. And do you remember that movie? And this
I do remember that movie, but not this part.
They're like, get all set up. It's like this, like, you know, very stupid, like metal thing you hold on to that they run a current through. And right before they're about to do it,
I don't remember any of this.
Napoleon's like, oh wait, I forgot the crystals. And then he grabs these crystals and just like puts them in this little like kind of like cylinder area or whatever, as if they're supposed to like do something.
Do they?
I love no. But I love just to like one, he almost forgets them. It seemed to be very important, but it's like just this very cheap little, you know, scam infomercial device. And the idea that like crystals would just be powerful enough to make time
to make
travel.
It work. Yeah.
But it was just very, anyway.
Napoleon Dynamite, all I really remember is the shirt that said vote for Pedro because everybody had a shirt that said that. And then the tater tots in the pocket because it was like so gross to me.
Yeah.
Just like taking tater tots out of your pocket and like the smush factor that would be happening in there.
Yeah, after I saw the movie, I stopped putting tater tots in my pocket. I was like, not anymore.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. You should remember more of it, though, just as a touchstone of our culture. So, you know.
I remember not getting it. I was like, I don't really get the appeal.
Yeah.
But maybe if I watched it now, I would get it more.
Maybe so. That's a really good question. I wonder how it would look now. And I wonder what it would be like for someone to watch it for the first time now. That would be such an odd experience to witness somebody else watching
That is how my roommate feels about the movie Halloween Town. Did you watch it when it came out?
Nope. I watched it as an adult and I was like, this movie is horrible.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah, that's how she feels too.
lame.
She missed the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the movie Casper?
I think I might have.
She hadn't watched it. We watched it recently and she liked it better, but I think it's just because she had a childhood crush on Bill Pullman. So just like honestly not sure.
Interesting.
But I did rewatch Casper for this Halloween, and it was.
For some reason, I'm getting Bill Paxton in my head, but
Is that Bill Paxton?
No. I can't remember what Bill Pullman was like because he is an actor.
Listen,
but I can't get his picture. I can't like.
Who's to say? I don't know actors. Bill Pullman. I pulled it up to see if this is the right guy. Yeah, this guy. But he was younger then.
Oh yeah, he's the president in Independence Day.
Oh yes, and I will say, I said, what else is he in? And she was appalled that I didn't have those names just off the top of my head.
Yeah, and then also he was, which I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but he was in Spaceballs. He was.
Was he in Lake Placid?
I don't know.
Who's the guy in that?
But he played the sort of knockoff Han Solo character in Spaceballs.
I never saw Spaceballs.
Okay, that is a problem. You can forget Napoleon Dynamite, but Spaceballs is important.
Whoops.
Okay, well, we'll have to figure that out at some point. So anyway, the crystals made me think of that.
Maybe do another media swap.
Yes, yeah. Maybe for the next community.
That's a good idea.
In our community episodes, which are exclusive to members of our community of our Patreon folks, we have a couple times done, or maybe just once, a media swap of sorts, and then we have to report back to each other about the experience of listening to.
And it was good.
Yeah, it was fun.
And one of them was something I hadn't really listened to before either, that it was supposed to be on my side. It was good. I learned a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's fun having an excuse to do that.
I think we did a couple times, because didn't you watch the Pride and Prejudice movie once?
Yes, but we just did it as part of just an episode, back in the first year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did watch Pride and Prejudice. What did I make you watch?
The Godfather, I think.
Okay, that sounds like what I would have made you watch.
You know what I've been thinking about The Godfather? If you like this, you would definitely like our community episodes. I've been thinking about The Godfather lately, and I think if I watched it again, I would like it a lot more.
You should.
Because I remember being like, I thought it was going to go a different way.
Yeah.
And being like, what? I thought this guy was good. And being pretty disappointed. But I think if I watched it now, knowing what happened, I think I would really be able to appreciate it more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. It does get better with time. And I don't think a lot of movies do.
Yeah.
But that one I have only appreciated more over time. And
one like that too that I think about a lot is a Casablanca, that I'm like, that would just be a hard situation to be in.
I've never seen that. It's a classic I should have, but
pretty good.
Yeah.
In the moment of watching it, I was kind of like, But sometimes, movies you just think about. You're like,
yeah.
Am I satisfied with the way that ended?
Mm-hmm.
You know what movie that happened to me also with?
What?
This is so off topic. This is a good one for if you're on a car ride right now, because it's holiday week in the United States coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to save this one for when you're on a car ride for a holiday in December, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever see Mona Lisa Smile?
No. Was that Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts and the girl from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, yeah.
It was a couple of like pretty famous-ish people from that time. What I felt about that movie was it didn't tell me, it never tried to make you feel a certain way about things. And I ended up like disagreeing with the main character on things and feeling like I was allowed to.
Yeah.
But I was left feeling like this was just felt like real life. There's like a lot of ambiguous things, but I've thought about it a lot since it happened. And then I'm like, well, does that mean it was good cinema?
I think it does. I mean, obviously, you can't just be like, I made you think about it. It was a good movie. It's like, what if you shot it on a really bad camera with no technique? And, obviously it takes more than just that. But I think it does. I like to say I've been left with a unique set of thoughts and feelings I hadn't quite felt before.
Yeah.
And that usually is a good thing, unless I'm sort of like just left with like, I don't like, if it's like a gory movie, for instance, and there's images you can't get out of your head.
Yeah. Not
the same thing. But if there's like, if it pulled you in enough to where you're like, I kind of care about the decisions that character made, and I feel conflicted about the ones that they made, and I'm not sure I would have done that same thing, and I wish they hadn't, or I'm wondering why they did, that kind of stuff I think is good cinema.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yep. That's cinema.
Okay, so that was a good sample of what community episodes are like.
Thanks for coming to Cinema for Your Life. Let's get back to Chemistry for Your Life, where we will ask, this is from one of our community members, Letila, asked, what is the chemistry of sourdough?
Ooh, this is a fun question because Mason's been making sourdough. So the chemistry of sourdough, it's really more like biochemistry. So yeast is an organism that exists all around us. And with a sourdough starter, you are letting that organism basically thrive in a contained environment. And yeast, as a byproduct of its metabolic processes, gives off carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide? I think, yeah, because it takes sugar and water, and I think it gives off. Wait, no, is that right?
I think so, but
well, it takes flour, but basically that's sugar, biologically speaking and chemically speaking. Flour and water, and converts it, to energy for it to use for itself to keep itself alive, and then one of the byproducts is CO2. We've talked about this briefly before, but then the CO2, those little gas, like individual CO2 molecules come together to form larger pockets of CO2 in a gaseous state. And the bigger they get, their gas at room temperature and pressure, for most people, day-to-day life, they're going to be gas at room temperature, CO2. Then you get these big bubbles, and that, when you work it in with more flour and water to make bread, gives you this nice aerated structure. And so that's a little bit of the chemistry of sourdough. We did an episode on gluten before. Gluten's definitely a part of it. And then also, I think some of those flavors of sourdough, I think some of the sourness is actually acidity, because I think it has to do with like maybe how much oxygen they're able to get. But I think at some point, I think some bacteria or things will start to produce acid and make sour. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it would take a whole episode, but that's a little bit of chemistry of sourdough.
Nice.
And I actually have tried to make my own sourdough starter, and it did not go well for me. And it was before I was into baking, so I've never gone back, but Mason's the baker in our family, and he makes really good sourdough bread.
Maybe you didn't succeed on your own in the past, but at yeast, you married someone who is making it.
At yeast, I did, yeah.
Yep.
And I have your mother-in-law to thank for that, because she started making sourdough bread, and he inspired him, and I'm really grateful.
Nice. I did not realize that she was the cause in a way. That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so thanks for letting her move in with you.
But kind of, it's like sort of like all boats rise.
I know. I knew that there's another one coming.
Okay, that's cool. So this next one is from Evan on Instagram. Hi, Melissa and Jim. I had a question about chemistry, specifically as a Canadian. They have chemistry there?
They do, actually. Okay. In Canada, yeah.
Awesome. How does ice melt? Ice salt.
It's called ice melt.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, got it. That was like, I just read that as, how does ice melt? It's like, well, how does ice melt, or ice, aka ice salt, I guess, work?
Okay, Evan first asked this question last January, and I didn't see it as a direct message. It's so things get lost in the Instagram stories. If you have not gotten a response, you can always fill out a form. But then I posted an Instagram story soliciting questions, and Evan resubmitted. I thought I was going to sneeze. So we have done a little bit of an episode on colligative properties, and we touched briefly on the sugar part. But what you can think again is as things freeze, as they become a solid from a liquid state. In the liquid state, there's enough energy that the molecules are able to move around and sort of flow past each other. And as they freeze, they're getting closer together and they're losing energy. So they're just like being sort of held close together by their lack of energy. Similar to like toddlers on the playground, lots of energy, toddlers at nap time, no energy, and they're sort of stuck in place. That's what's happening when things freeze. Well, imagine now when you're bringing, your toddlers in from nap time, you have a bunch of like bouncy balls bouncing around in between them. That's going to distract them from getting to their mats and going to sleep. That's kind of what salt with ice does, is the salt ions from the salt, the table salt like NaCl or other salts, they're positively charged and negatively charged, and they'll interact with the water molecules, and that sort of disrupts the water molecules from finding each other and getting into a state that they're able to stay together, packed in, solid, like nap time. So those molecules, basically the salt atoms, are interrupting the molecules from finding each other. So it just makes it harder for them to freeze. And we have a whole episode about that if you want to check it out. It's called Why Didn't Jam's Pot Boil?
Right, that's right.
So.
Yeah, I think when we re-released it at one point, I think I changed it to just be like something more
salt water boil.
Yeah, because we also talked about in that same one we talked about the lid situation too, which is about atmospheric pressure.
Yeah,
it was like a lot of like boiling water.
Yeah,
for cooking purposes, basically. Factors that could make it go faster or slower.
And we had a follow-up question, I think, from Steven talking about, can you sugar roads instead of salt them? And you can, because it's based on the particles being dissolved in the solution, not on the type of particle they are. Yeah. So sugar would work too. But it might make your road sticky.
Yeah, you got a different problem going on there at that point. You've solved one problem, and then, maybe it is better to be
solved.
Sticky. Yeah. Maybe it is better to have sticky roads. I guess you wouldn't be sliding around, but I don't know.
Also, There's lots of maple syrup that can mix in Canada. I had a friend who tried to mail me Canadian maple syrup once, and it got stopped at customs, is what she told me. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anybody out there at customs want to send me maple syrup, I would love that.
You could do, if there's really no way to get it across, is some of the states that are closest to Canada that can
import it.
No, they just have trees that can make maple syrup.
Oh, like Vermont maple syrup.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I had a roommate from Vermont, and
you did?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he would, anytime he came, he would get a care package from his parents, a couple times randomly here or there. But most of the time, it was if he had gone home between semesters, he would come back with several jugs of maple syrup.
Yeah, because
he was a purist.
So good.
Yeah, he was like, if I'm gonna be eating anything where syrup was required, I'm gonna be having real good stuff. So.
Well, my friend from Canada was like, did you at least get real maple syrup? And I was like, yeah. And I showed her the thing, and she's like, that's not real maple syrup. This is real maple syrup. And I was like, well, you think that this isn't real maple syrup, but have you heard about the corn syrup ones? And she was
maple
appalled.
Flavored. Yeah. I was like probably like 18 before I noticed that syrup that I thought was maple syrup.
Yeah.
Was maple flavored syrup. I was looking at the bottom one time and I was like, huh, why does it say maple flavored?
Yeah. I grew up on that one.
Yeah. Same. And then it was like, wait, what?
Nope. Now I switched. I made the switch.
I don't really use it very often. In general, I don't use maple or maple flavored syrup very often. But okay. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This is from Mercedes on Instagram. Hey, I just had my first P-Chem exam and it was on Halloween. Very spooky. I just listened to your new episode and you mentioned PChem and how hard it is, and I had to message you. Love the new episode. So interesting.
So that was about the why do things glow in the dark? And we talked about how PChem is the spookiest chemistry. And then there was the Halloween spooky episode. And so I loved that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's perfect.
Also, if you want to, I can read this review real quick that kind of goes with that same one. It was a comment on the same episode.
Okay.
This was on YouTube. So Lame Loser, which is hilarious, on YouTube said, "This is the first video I've seen from you all, and I really enjoyed it. Such interesting facts and analogies." And then they commented what we asked people to comment about their glow-in-the-dark nostalgia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they said, "Recently, I got this neat Lego Batman set with glow-in-the-dark eyes. What a cool detail."
Nice.
So very cool. That was one of the only people who commented their fun glow-in-the-dark thing. And so I wanted to highlight that because when I asked that question, I really do want to know what y'all are thinking about. So
Yes. It has been less than a week since we posted that one.
That's
as of
true.
This recording.
That's true.
So some people may be planning to tell us.
That's true. Okay,
thank you, lame loser. We don't think you're lame or loser, but that is your username, so we will use it. Thank you for telling us what glow in the dark thing you have been enjoying lately. This one next from Brian. Brian M asked this, which I don't know anything about this. How does tempered glass happen?
I have no idea. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say I don't know, and I'll add it to my list for episodes.
Nice. So this is one where she doesn't have a chemistry off the cuff. Okay.
I don't have a chemistry off the cuff. No, I don't. I think it's good to say that every once in a while. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Don't have a chemistry off the cuff, and I'm committed to myself to not do research for Q&R episodes because I'm just one person.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I've always admired that about you. That you're just one person. Should I share this next what'd you call it?
Yes.
Review comment?
It's a review, it's a comment, and it's an episode suggestion, but another one that I don't know about. So
okay,
go for it.
So the reason we like to read these, I mean, it's, we want to share them somewhere. These are sweet notes people are sending us, and we want to shout them out, and it feels great to be encouraged by you all. So we just want to share these. Great show. My daughter turned me on to your show. She loves chemistry class. She's first year at UCSC, and now I do too. So we were walking around campus this weekend, and she was giving us a tour of her life at UCSC. We came across quite a few banana slugs. Since I've been listening to your show, I thought I should ask, what makes banana slugs yellow? I'm pretty sure my daughter, Rafaela, agreed that this could be an interesting topic. By the way, I'm tossing out anything Teflon in my kitchen.
Nice.
Thanks for all both of you, hard work that lead to this kick-ass show. I wish.
Should we bleep that?
That's a good question. Yeah, I will. How about, why not? Just to make sure.
This cool show.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there like a typical like clean replacement for that?
Kick butt show.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. That seems obvious. I don't know why they didn't.
I do like it when people are cursing and they just put a duck sound over it to bleep it out. That always makes me laugh. So,
did you ever watch Craig Ferguson?
No.
He would put other stuff over his cursing that was just like other sound bites of his own, saying random words that sounded so obviously not, the thing. And also they have to cover their mouth when they say it on talk shows like that, for like broadcast stuff or whatever. But it was so funny. I'll just show you that at some point. Okay. I wish both of you and anyone else involved a happy, fulfilling life. That's from Matt, Rafaela's dad, via the website, sending it through the website, through the form submission. Super helpful.
Yeah, we love that.
Also super encouraging. Matt,
I know.
Thank you.
So I wanted to highlight this to shout out Rafaela, first of all, because that's so cool that she loves chemistry class and that she shared the show with her dad. That makes a big impact of just sharing the show with one person you think would like it can be huge.
Mm-hmm.
And also congratulations on starting your first semester at school, and just the idea of like walking around and showing your parent what it's like. It's really cool to be starting that new phase of your life. And so I just wanted to give a little highlight and thanks. I have no idea what makes banana slugs yellow, but I will also add that to my list. And I do think that could be really cool.
Nice.
But it's biochem.
Mm-hmm. It is cool that we didn't go into the color side of it. We've talked about color before, but we were talking about, eyesight with last week's episode about beta carotene and stuff and how that works. So many aspects to that.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's true. There are like pigments that have a lot of alternating double bonds that tend to absorb light in the right regions, and then they appear to be the colors that they didn't absorb. Like yellow has the opposite side, so probably like blues and greens get absorbed. But I don't know. I guess like why? What is it? Something they eat that makes them yellow, or are they yellow like genetically because of natural selection or something? I don't know about that. So, yeah, I do know why things are yellow in general, I guess.
Right, but what makes this thing yellow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you want to read that last one?
Sure. This one, it was another one on YouTube. Those are fun. This person commented on our episode about silicone. You folks are so cool. Thanks for explaining this stuff to us out here. So thanks to Stillpoint on YouTube. It says Instagram, but it's YouTube.
Okay, nice.
Okay, well, I think that's all I have. So thanks for sending in your questions and your comments. We want to hear what your favorite fall food is from our last episode. And hey, go ahead and comment your glow in the dark thing too if you want. We'd love to hear it.
Yep. And as usual, thank you for the questions y'all sent in for this. And if you have any other questions you want to ask a chemist, that is what this episode's for. And we'd love to hear your questions. So send this to us on preferably our website, chemforyourlife.com. That's chemforyourlife.com to share your thoughts, ideas, questions. If you'd like to help us keep our show going and contribute to cover the cost of making it, you can join our super cool Chem community of patrons on patreon.com/chemforyourlife. You get an ad-free version of the show, ad-free feed of the show, other perks and ways for us to say thank you for supporting the show, helping it keep going, helping provide the ability for it to stay free for everybody else. And we give you those things as thank yous to appreciate you. If you're not able to do that, though, you can still help us by subscribing to our favorite podcast app, rating, writing a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, whatever app you're using, as well as subscribing on YouTube and leaving us a comment over there saying hello. Those things help us to share chemistry with even more people, help other people to find the show, and incorporate chemistry, understanding it into their everyday life.
That's right. This episode of Chemistry for Your Life was created by me, Melissa Collini, and him, J.M. Robinson. J.M. Robinson is our producer, and beyond that, we are so thankful to our financial supporters on Patreon who make this show happen and make it realistic for us to keep going week in and week out to make this episode for you. So those people that we want to shout out are Heather R, Autoclave, Chelsea M, Dorien V, Scott B, Jessie R, Ciara L, John T, Jeannette N, Cullyn R, Erica B, Elizabeth P, Sarah Moore. Nope. Sorry, Sarah. Called you out. Rachel R, Letila S, I think, Katrina B, Suzanne P, Venus R, Lyn S, Jacob T, Brian K, Emerson W, Kristina G, Timothy P, Stephen B, Chris and Claire S, Chelsea B, Avishai B, and Hunter R. Thank you all so much for supporting us and for wanting to make chemistry accessible to even more people and believing in this little dream of ours.
Yes, thank you all so much. And also, yay chemistry.
Yay chemistry. Yay bonus episodes. Yay listener questions.
Yeah.
Yay chemistry.